Hi, and welcome back to the episode 3, where we are going to be comparing the Mini Cooper in terms of owning a car, renting a car, and co owning a car. Now, as you can see these prices below the respective headings, it means that if you're going to be owning a Mini Cooper, you're going to be paying 30,000 rupees per day. If you're going to be renting a Mini Cooper, you're going to be paying 18,000 rupees per day. And if you're going to be co-owning a Mini Cooper, you're going to be paying only 3,000 rupees. So if you want to understand how we came to this calculation, then watch the video further. So before we get into it, I'm going to introduce ourselves. Uh, Prorata is the world's first fractional car ownership platform where you can own premium luxury and off-roading cars with nearby residents to upgrade your lifestyle. We were established in 2022 and also got featured in Shark Tank season 3 in 2024. We even got funded by Anupam Mittal and Piyush Bansal. So, the first thing that we're going to be doing is comparing owning a car. So, let's get into it. Now, before we get into the calculations, we make a certain set of assumptions so that we can make the calculation easier. So, we have five set of assumptions. The first one being that this calculation is based on a 5 year timeline, which means that you're going to be using this car for a period of 5 years and then you will be selling it later. The second assumption is that you already have an existing car, which means this is not your primary car and it's your secondary car or your third car, which you're going to be using occasionally. Now, your third assumption is based off on the second one that because this is not your primary car, you're going to be using this car only for 90 days in a year. That's going to be your maximum requirement. And your fourth assumption is that the resale value after 5 years is 50% of the on road price. And your fifth assumption is that this calculation is based on the new three door Mini Cooper S model. So now let's get into the calculation bit of it. Okay, so the ex showroom price of the Mini Cooper is 45 lakh rupees, and your insurance is 1 lakh 60,000, and registration is 9 lakhs 82,000. Now, every city has different registration charges like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. All the registration charges in all the cities will differ. So, in this case, we've taken Bangalore to be the example, and your accessories charges are going to be 2 lakh 40,000 rupees, and your other charges like your transportation and tax collected at source is 85,000. So your on road price becomes your ex showroom plus insurance plus registration plus accessories and other charges, which amounts to a total of 60 lakh rupees. Now, if you're going to be owning this car, you're going to be taking a loan. And let's say you do a standard down payment of 20% of the on road price, which is 12 lakh rupees. And your loan repayment amount for a period of 5 years at 8.8% interest becomes 60 lakh rupees. And your parking costs are usually 2,000 rupees per month. But if you do this for a recurring period of 5 years, you're going to be paying 1 lakh 20,000, and your maintenance cost is 5% of the on road price of the car. So 5% of 60 lakhs amounts to 3 lakh rupees. Now, if you add all these costs, your down payment plus your loan repayment plus parking cost plus your maintenance cost, you get a total cost of 76 lakh rupees. Now, what we're going to be doing next is we are going to be calculating the resale amount. So, resale amount, as we have established earlier, is 50% of the on road price of the car. And as the on road price of the car is 60 lakh rupees, 50% of that is 30 lakh rupees. Now, to get the net cost after resale, we are going to be subtracting 30 lakhs from 76 lakhs, which amounts to a total of 46 lakh rupees. Now, in order to calculate your cost per day, we are going to be dividing the net cost after resale by our three usage scenarios. So let's look at the first usage scenario, which is 30 days per year. And if you do this for a recurring period of 5 years, then you get 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 150 days. So 46 lakhs divided by 150 days of usage gives you a total of 30,000 rupees per day. And now, if we look at the second scenario, which is 60 days per year, which is roughly 2 months in a year for a period of 5 years, then you use the car for 300 days per year. So 46 lakhs divided by 300 days gives you a total of 15,000 rupees per day. And if you use this car for 90 days a year, which was again established earlier to be your maximum requirement, which is roughly 3 months in a year, and 450 days in 5 years, then you divide 46 lakhs by 450 days, which gives you a total of 10,000 rupees per day. Now, Owning a car will only be owning a car or owning a Mini Cooper will only be beneficial for you if your usage is more than 250 days in a year or 300 days in a year. If your usage is just 30, 60, 90 days in a year, then owning a car could be really expensive for you, as 10,000 rupees as your cost per day plus your fuel cost will also add up, which could make it super expensive. So only if your usage is more than 250 days in a year, you should opt for owning a car. Now let's look at the second category, which is renting a car. Now we have a certain set of assumptions for that. In this case, we have four assumptions. The first one being the same, the calculation is based on a 5-year timeline, which means you're going to be renting this car regularly for a recurring period of 5 years. Now, your second assumption is that we're assuming that a car worth 60 to 70 lakhs rupees rent is going to be 18,000 rupees per day for a 24-hour cycle, which means let's say you rent the car today morning 7 a.m. and you have to return it tomorrow 7 a.m. And the rent of that is going to be 18,000 rupees. Now, your third assumption is that your requirement for the car is again maximum 90 days in a year. And your fourth assumption is that you get this car without a driver and without fuel. So now let's get into the calculation bit of it. Now, as we've already established the daily rent of the Mini Cooper to be 18,000 rupees per day, and your maintenance, insurance, parking, registration costs are going to be nil. So let's calculate the three different usage scenarios again. So if you're going to be renting this car for 30 days in a year, let's say you have 2 to 3 occasions or 2 to 3 trips lined up, or your family visits you, or whatever your use case may be. Now, if you use this car for 30 days in a year and for a period of 5 years, you use it for 150 days and your cost per day is 18,000 rupees, you're going to be paying 27 lakh rupees as your total rent over a period of 5 years. Now, if you look at the second usage scenario, which is 60 days per year and 300 days in 5 years, and your cost per day is 18,000 rupees, you're going to be paying 54 lakh rupees as your total rent at the end of 5 years. And if your usage is 90 days per year, which is your maximum requirement, which is 450 days in 5 years, and your cost per day is 18,000 rupees, you're going to be paying 81 lakh rupees as your total rent, which is more than the on road price of the car. So, renting a car will only be beneficial for you, or renting this Mini Cooper will only be beneficial for you if your usage is maximum 4 to 5 days in a year, probably just one vacation or one occasion, or maybe just a wedding to attend to, or 2 to 3 couple of business meetings. That's about it. If you use this car for more than 5 to 6 days in a year, it's going to be super, super expensive for you. Now we're going to be looking at the third part of it, which is co-owning a car. Let's get into the calculation part of this now. Now, again, we have a certain set of assumptions for co-owning a car as well. You have total 5 assumptions. The first one being that, again, this calculation is based on a 5-year timeline. You're going to be using this car for 5 years and then reselling it later. Your second one is that you already have an existing car. So this is not your primary car, it's your second or your third car. The third one is based off on the second one, that your requirement for the car is maximum 90 days. Since this is not your primary car, you do not travel to office with it and your daily commute is already sorted. This is something for your occasional usage. You have trips in a year, you're an NRI and you visit India often, and you need a certain and you need a car to use it in that particular city. Now, your fourth assumption is that the resale value after 5 years is 50% of the on road price, which we have already established earlier. And the fifth assumption is that this calculation is based on the new 3-door Mini Cooper S model. Now, let's get into the calculation bit of it. So, the on road price of the car, as we have established while looking at the owning a car slide, is 60 lakh rupees. Now, what we do is we divide one car into 12 tickets of ownership, like 12 months in a year, where one ticket represents 1 month of ownership, which you can split across the year. And you do this for a recurring period of 5 years and resell the car after 5 years through a bidding process, where you can bid, your friends can bid, vendors can bid, dealers can bid, and whatever is the maximum bid price is what the car is sold on, and the resale value is given back to the co-owners. So in this case, when we divide 60 lakhs into 12 tickets of ownership, you get 5 lakh rupees to be your ticket size, which means by paying 5 lakh rupees, you can use this car for 30 days in a year for a period of 5 years. Now, apart from this, we offer three services. The first one being your periodic service and maintenance. The second one being your insurance policy, which is bumper to bumper. So if any scratches, minor dents, accidents happen, then we take care of it. And your third one is your driver pick and drop service. So every time you reserve the car in the app, let's say you want 2 days in June, or 3 days in February, or 2 days in January. As per your requirement, you can book the days in the app or reserve the days in the app, and a driver will come to your doorstep, give you the keys, and will give the car to you full tank, and you have to return it full tank. And we do this at a cost of 40,000 rupees per year. Over a period of 5 years, you'll be paying 40,000 into 5, which amounts to 2 lakh. Okay, there's a typo here. It says 80,000, but it's actually 40,000 into 5, which amounts to a total of 2 lakh. Let's get into the second half of it, which is reselling the car. Now, as we've already discussed, the resale value is going to be 50% of the on-road price of the car. And in this case, 5 lakhs is your ticket size. So 50% of 5 lakhs becomes 2 lakh 50. So your net cost after resale becomes 2 lakh 50 plus 2 lakhs, which amounts to a total of 4 lakh 50,000. Now, in order to calculate your cost per day, we are going to be looking at the three usage scenarios again. The first one being one ticket, 30 days of usage, over a period of 5 years, 150 days, and you're going to be dividing 4,50,000 by 150 days of usage, which gives you a total of 3,000 rupees per day. Now, if you need 60 days in a year, which is two tickets of ownership, your co-ownership price becomes 9 lakh rupees, and 9 lakh rupees divided by 300 days gives you a total of 3,000 rupees again. And now let's look at the third scenario, which is your maximum requirement, 90 days per year, three tickets, which means 4 lakh 50,000 into 3, 13 lakh 50,000 divided by your usage, which is 450 days, gives you a total of 3,000 rupees per day. So, all in all, when you look at the cost per day for each of the segments, owning a Mini Cooper, renting a Mini Cooper, and co owning a Mini Cooper, you get a total of 30,000 rupees per day if you're going to be using the car for 30 days per year in owning it. And if you're going to be renting a Mini Cooper, you're going to be paying 18,000 rupees if you're going to be using the car for 30 days a year. And for co owning, you're going to be paying only 3,000 rupees if you're going to be using it for 30 days per year. Now, again, all of this depends entirely on your usage. If you need a car for your daily commute, your grocery shopping, malls, commuting to office and back, then owning a Mini Cooper will be most beneficial for you, because more the usage, lesser the cost. Now, renting a Mini Cooper is the exact opposite. If you have only one occasion in the entire year, maybe only one wedding to attend to or one vacation to take that does not exceed 4 to 5 days of usage, then renting will be the easiest and the most feasible option for you. On the other hand, co-owning a car will be the best option for you if you already have an existing car that solves your daily commute and you need a second or a third car for your occasional purposes, like your family visits you often, or you're an NRI, like I mentioned earlier, or you're simply a car enthusiast and you have one or two cars and you want a third car but you don't want to spend a bomb on it. Now you want to take 3 to 4 vacations in a year, then owning a car is the best, cheapest, and the most feasible option. I'm going to be dropping our website's link in the caption below, www.proratacar.com. You could go there and check out different types of cars, not just the Mini Cooper. We have different cars that are rolling out in January 2025, the Mahindra Thar Rocks, XUV 700, Land Rover Defender, and a couple other cars. So you can go check them out, check their prices out, their services costs out, and you could make an informed decision based off on your needs. So this was about it. Thank you so much.